Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken Trident Challenge Bumper Exclusive Trailer. Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, the new animated movie of DreamWorks Studios that's coming out this summer, and it definitely looks amazing. Mainly because, as you may already know, the antagonist of this animated movie is a redhead mermaid that is clearly a parody to the Little Mermaid of Disney, basically mocking Disney's Little Mermaid and making their own mermaid that, ironically enough, looks more like the Disney's mermaid than their own mermaid, which is crazy. Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken is a highly unexpected movie. DreamWorks didn't officially reveal it as such or release a teaser trailer or anything of that sort. They released the trailer and announced it out of the blue, and none of us were expecting the movie to look this good. It definitely looks promising, fun, and entertaining to watch. But besides the trailer, which I already made a video about, there has been new content released about the movie that you must see, guys. It's a bumper, and it was only released in Latin America, and it's very interesting because it shows us some things about the movie in a funny and very interesting way. This bumper wasn't available in the US, so you may have missed it. So without further ado, let me show it to you guys. So as we can see in the video, we see the Ruby Gillman mermaid holding a trident in a very funny way as the main character of the movie, Ruby Gillman, tries to take it away from her. But she then uses her huge hand because, as we can see in the trailer, she can turn into a giant, and she squeezes her, winks at the camera, and swims away. A very funny and interesting bumper, guys. Let's watch it again one more time. So the trailer for this movie was released 2 months ago, and it was full of secrets. So if you haven't seen them, let's examine the trailer piece by piece so you can see all of the hidden things inside it, guys. So without further ado, let's jump into it. In the minute 106 of the trailer, where the mermaid is surrounded by all her fans chanting her name out loud and making Ruby Gillman feel way more awkward than she already was, we see her doing all sorts of poses to the crowd while everyone is throwing roses at her, basically making a reference to the real world models in such a funny way. And in one of the scenes of this part, we see that some fans carry her to the front of Ruby Gillman, and she basically tries to make her uncomfortable in front of everyone around her, telling her that she knows that she is a disguised Kraken and she's not on the level of the mermaids. Now, after this, we see a group of guys shocked at the fact that she may be a Kraken, and if we look closely, one of the guys is wearing a shirt with a logo that is an obvious reference to the logo of Hydra, the main logo of the organization that the Avengers have been fighting against since their creation. And at the same time, this is also a reference to the Kraken logo that we also see in Hotel Transylvania 4 that Van Helsing uses as a reference to his iconic awakening of the Kraken in the third movie. All three represent the same Kraken. After the scene where the mermaid starts picking on Ruby Gillman, she gets scared that people may find out that she really is a Kraken, and she panics, and she runs away to her house, and that's when we see her going to her room in the next scene and bury her head in the cushion, and she starts screaming at the top of her lungs. Now, in this same scene, if we pause and look at the side of her bed, where she has all sorts of teddy bears and stuffed animals related to the sea world, we can see that one of them actually moves, which tells us that it's really not a teddy bear, but it's actually her pet. We still don't know anything about this pet since it doesn't appear again in the trailer, but it will be very interesting to see what kind of animal the pet is. But from what we can see, it looks like a dog animated like a sea animal. Now, the main theme of the movie are Krakens. We see them at the beginning of the trailer, in the end, and more. Everything in this movie revolves around the Krakens and the mermaids, but specifically the Krakens. So what are they? Krakens are a legendary sea creature that were set to come out on the coast of Scandinavia back in the 1700s. This was the origin of the Krakens, and they became a myth in Scandinavia that expanded to the whole of Europe after that. A huge sea creature that lived at the bottom of the ocean that ate ships, sold pretty well, and many books and stories started being written about the Kraken, making its popularity grow among other mythological creatures. It's a creature that has a lot of potential, and DreamWorks will sure do a great job here within in the animation. Going back to the same scene where Ruby closes her laptop in her bedroom, if we zoom at the back, right on the walls, we can see some drawings, and among them, we can see this one right here, of a boot with a plant inside it. This is a secret reference to the famous plant boot of Wall-E. As machinery and nature is getting destroyed in the Wall-E world by the company By and Large, Wall-E finds a glimpse of hope inside a boot, and he sees a plant growing inside it. Such a beautiful and iconic scene that made made this movie so amazing to watch. That's why the directors of Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken wanted to give it a little reference here in this movie. After the scene, right on the second 26 of the trailer, we see the first glimpse of our main character Ruby Gillman, packing many of her teenage things in her backpack to go to her high school, Oceanside High. Now, in one of the fast parts that we see in this montage, she is packing her things up fast and she closes her laptop. And if we look at the back of the scene, we see a calendar, and we can see that she's in the month of May during this scene. But something very interesting that you probably didn't pick up on is that if we zoom right into the same calendar, we see that she has the day 18th of May marked in her calendar. What does this mean? This is the day that the legendary first Shrek movie was released. Although it wasn't the first DreamWorks movie, it was definitely the most successful one of the franchise and the movie that propelled the studio to where it is today. Released on May the 18th of 2001, Shrek 1 was a massive success and at the box office, leading to the even more iconic Shrek 2 and the continuation of one of the most liked animated franchises ever. This day holds a very high significance for DreamWorks, and because of this, they decided to give it a little reference here in this movie. Going back to the beginning of the movie, we see the scene that I showed you guys before, where the Kraken swims around the wrecked ship as the camera zooms into the ship. But then the Kraken does something that you probably missed, guys. He starts looking through a hole in the wrecked ship in such a distinct way. Well, this is a reference to this scene of the movie Jaws, where Hooper gets close to the wrecked ship in the same way we see in the trailer. And when he gets closer, he finds the face of Ben Grodner. Jaws was a movie released on June the 20th of 1975, where just like the creature from the Black Lagoon, a policeman with the help of a biologist started an investigation to hunt a white shark that attacks and eats people in the water. Directed by Steven Spielberg, Jaws has become a movie in the film industry that has garnered worldwide recognition ever since. And because of this, they wanted to give it a little reference here in this movie. Also, if we move to the middle of the trailer, we can see that the mermaid looks very familiar, guys, right? She's making a reference to the Little Mermaid character Ariel of Disney Studios, released on November the 17th of 1989. The movie is one of the most liked and legendary animated movies of the studio. Made during the Disney's Renaissance, it tells us the story of Ariel, a mermaid who is fascinated by the outside world, and one day she meets Prince Eric, who makes her change her way of life, and she gets out of the water to live with him on the surface. Ariel has become the visual representation of a mermaid, and that's why they gave her a little parody reference here in Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. A very funny scene. At the beginning of the trailer, the first thing we see is an incredible bank of fishes with a beautiful blue bright color that just lights up the whole sea, and then the scene goes on to focus on a huge Kraken swimming along a wrecked ship in a similar form to the Kraken we see in Pirates of the Caribbean. But right before the scene, we see the artistic name of the movie, and we can see that the movie is called Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. A very interesting name that really begs the question, where does this come from and what does it mean? Well, Ruby Gillman is a reference to the Gillman, the main creature of the legendary movie The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Released on February the 12th of 1954, this movie tells us the story of a group of scientists who discovered the remains of a mysterious animal in the seas and decided to begin an investigation to find out what this creature is and capture it. Then the scientists discover what they call the Gillman because of its humanoid form with its characteristic fish gills. Because of the fact that this movie was such a pioneer in the sea fantasy world, the creators of this movie wanted to give it a little homage by naming the main character just like this. And well, my guys, that's all the dose of DJ there is for today. I really hope you liked this video and like this Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken Trident Challenge bumper. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one, my guys. Peace!